Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel, Gardening in Cold Spring Harbor. For those of you who are new to my channel, I'm in Long Island, New York, Zone 7A. Yet another gorgeous, hot summer day here in Long Island, New York. So what are we going to talk about today in today's video? We're going to talk about one of my most favorite crops to grow, and that is a pepper plant, guys. But particularly, we're going to go into all the common and some not so very common causes of pepper plant leaf wilt, guys. I know that this can be very, very frustrating to many of us home gardeners, that our plant goes from looking like this, healthy, strong, green, producing beautiful, gorgeous peppers, to looking like this, almost instantaneously. So I want to go into all the causes, all the possible causes of pepper plant leaf wilt. So for those of you who are looking for that online gardening channel that offers tips, tricks, easy yet proven gardening advice to take your home gardens to that next level, don't go anywhere, guys. Stick around. Start with clicking the subscribe button. And if you never want to miss any of my new upcoming gardening videos, and you want YouTube to notify you every time I'll upload a new gardening video, also click the bell icon as well. Now come with me. Let's talk about all the possible causes of pepper plant leaf wilt. So in today's gardening video, guys, we're going to talk all about possible causes of your pepper plant's leaves drooping and essentially wilting like so. Some causes of your pepper plant's leaves wilting and drooping are more common than others. There are unfortunately less common causes as well, and I'll go into that cause in today's video also. So 9 out of 10 times when your pepper plant's leaves are wilting, the cause of this wilt is lack of water, guys. So lack of water is probably the most common reason that you will see your peppers plant's leaves wilt. Luckily, that can be easily fixed. All you do is you go back to your pepper plant, you water it substantially, and you give your pepper plant about an hour to an hour and a half. And after your plant is done drinking of the water, the pepper plant's leaves should perk right back up, and they will look just as healthy as they did before. We do not want to put our pepper plants through such stress, guys. So we should always keep an eye on Mother Nature, keep an eye on the air temperatures, of course, the humidity. And if we know that the day is going to be very, very hot and very, very humid, we should be ahead of Mother Nature. We should go out as early as possible into our home gardens and water our pepper plants before the situation escalates and gets to be this bad. So now let's get into reason number 2. Soft, soggy, droopy leaves. It is not good, guys, to let your plant get to this stage. But your plant looking like this is clearly a signal of major, major distress. It's trying to conserve whatever water it has left in its system. It's working very, very hard. So I always try to be ahead of Mother Nature, ahead of the game, ahead of the problem, and water your plants early in the mornings on regular basis. So I always try to gauge and think back about how long it took for my plant to get to this soggy, droopy, wilted condition. And when I think back about when was the last time that I watered my plant, when was the last time that I saw my plant happy, standing strong and green, I again get ahead of the game and I try to water earlier, especially if I see that my plant is in such distress. So reason number 2 that your pepper plant's leaves might be wilting is sun shock, guys. If you're putting your pepper transplants or young pepper plants outside for the very first time and they're right under direct sunlight, your pepper plant might experience sun shock, where it goes into distress and tries to protect itself by having its leaves wilt. Again, if you put out your young pepper plants or transplants outside for the first time and you notice that their leaves are wilting, you should try and move your plant into a shaded spot as soon as possible. After some time in that shade, your plant's leaves should eventually perk right back up. If you do leave your plants out in the sun for a very, very long time, they're not just going to experience sun shock. They will also experience something called a sun scald, where the leaves of your pepper plant will start to develop these brown spots or blotches, burn marks, also known as sun scald. Cut your young pepper plants some slack, guys. I always recommend slowly exposing your pepper plants to sunlight, especially if your pepper plants are younger, baby plants. Don't just take them outside and leave them, exposed to the sun for hours and hours. Pepper plants can only take so much, guys. We do not want to hurt and abuse our pepper plants. Reason number 3 that your pepper plant's leaves are wilting, and that is high air temperatures. Even after your plants hardened off and got used to the sunlight, extensive hot air temperatures, say above 90 to 95 degrees, which is roughly 38 degrees Celsius, will put your pepper plant into tremendous stress and tremendous shock. When the air temperature consistently stays above 95 degrees Fahrenheit, our pepper plants are severely stressed out. They're starting to transpire liquid through their leaves. When us humans get hot, we obviously all start to perspire and sweat as well. So if we are hot, if we are sweating, our pepper plants are just as hot and just as devastated as us humans in such severe hot air temperatures. High temperatures, especially now that we are in the middle of summer, can be a very common cause for your pepper plant's leaves wilting. I know, guys, that this summer has been extra hot and extra humid for many of you out there in the gardening zones in which you live. We've also been having hot air temperatures and excessive extreme humidity here in New York State. So I'm there with you guys. I totally understand, and I want to help all of you guys garden successfully and end up harvesting tons and tons of delicious crops this year. So if you are watching that weather forecast and you know that you guys are due to experience a heat wave, I highly suggest that you get on top of the game and move your pepper plants into a shaded location. That is especially easy if you are indeed growing your peppers in containers. That might be a little more trickier and harder to do if they are growing directly in a raised garden bed or in the soil, but there are solutions for that as well. You can try to build some kind of a prop and cover your peppers with shade cloth, 30 to 40% shade cloth, at least for that part of the day when you know that you're going to have extensive, excessive heat and humidity. So when the air temperatures exceed 95 degrees and stay there for multiple days at a time, not only is your pepper plant going to be severely stressed out, you might and most likely will see your pepper plant's leaves wilt. You might see sun scald marks on your pepper plant's leaves. But what's worse, you might see your pepper plant stop producing flower buds, and in fact, your existing flower buds might start to brown off, die out, and fall off your plant. So you might end up losing lots of peppers due to this extensive high heat. At this point, many of you might start to question what I'm saying. Many of us know that peppers are warm and indeed hot weather loving crops. However, guys, there is a limit even to hot weather loving plants. And this limit usually starts to happen when the air temperatures reach about 100 degrees Fahrenheit. That is when we start to see problems with our pepper plants. Reason number 4, or possible cause of your pepper plant's leaves wilting, is or can be that you are watering your pepper plant with very cold water, with ice cold water. So if you see that the main stem of your pepper plant is starting to droop and kind of fall over sideways, and the plant's leaves look shriveled up and wilted and also leaning towards one direction like so, this can be a very clear indication of stress from a cold water shock. Now that we spoke about 4 most common causes for pepper plant leaf wilt, I'd like to get into one cause that is not so common and is more uncommon. However, it does happen. Unfortunately, it happens to many of us home gardeners. And that 5th cause, the more uncommon cause, is bacterial leaf wilt. Unfortunately, some states and some gardening zones, such as Florida or New York, are more prone to bacterial leaf wilt of our pepper plants, our potato plants, our tomato plants, and even our eggplants. As the name suggests, bacterial wilt is caused by a bacteria pathogen. It is a very, very destructive disease, and most of the time it develops in areas that are high in humidity and moisture. If you guys have gone through each and one of the causes mentioned previously in this video, and you were able to eliminate all of the other causes, such as lack of water, such as high air temperatures, such as potentially watering your pepper plants with cold water, and you fixed the problem, yet your pepper plant's leaves still look like this for multiple hours or even days at a time, that unfortunately, most likely, bacterial wilt disease has entered your home garden and viciously destroyed your pepper plant. Pepper bacterial wilt is one of the most destructive diseases when it comes to solanaceous crops. What are some examples of solanaceous crops? Of course, those are our peppers, tomatoes, eggplants, potatoes, and even tobacco plants. When the bacterial wilt disease creeps in, it will have no mercy on your solanaceous crops. It will destroy them and kill them. Pepper bacterial wilt is also known to some as the green wilt. Why? Because as you could see, your pepper plant still stays absolutely green. There are no spots, no bruises on the plant. However, your plant's leaves suddenly start to wilt and droop down like so. So I went through every single possible cause when it comes to my pepper plants, and I was able to eliminate all of the common causes. So unfortunately, in my case, the pepper bacterial wilt has made its way to my home garden, and it already has destroyed not 1, but 2 of my beautiful jalapeno pepper plants. And this happened in a matter of overnight. Just yesterday, these peppers looked happy, like this guy right next to it over here. Nice and green. I have more peppers on this side. Look at these serrano peppers. Look at these beautiful peppers. But then, right overnight, my peppers went from looking as healthy and perky like this to looking wilted, droopy, and disheveled like this, which is exactly why I wanted to make this video and to share this experience with you guys, to let you know that I, just like you, do have problems that tend to creep up into my home garden that I have to deal with almost on an everyday basis, especially now in this hot, humid summer weather. After your pepper plant's leaves start to shrivel like so, and very clearly visually you see the wilting, and it's actually not some parts of your pepper plant, it's your entire pepper plant, as you could see, that has all of its leaves completely wilted. So what happens next if left in place intact? You will start seeing undersized growth of your plant. So no more pepper production, no more blooms. Your existing peppers that are left on your plant, maybe still have tiny little peppers left, they will stop growing, and you will no longer see any more flowers or blooms, and essentially eventually your plant will unfortunately die. So unfortunately, when and if pepper bacterial wilt will creep into your home garden like it did with me over here, so the good news is that we as home gardeners are able to identify this disease and tackle this disease. So the bad news is that there's no way to salvage this pepper plant or any plant that was attacked and killed by pepper bacterial wilt disease. In fact, remember again, it comes from bacterial pathogens. So if you do not remove this plant, if you do not extract it from the soil or from the container, it can potentially continue spreading this bacterial disease to your other nearing healthy pepper or even healthy tomato plants. Because remember, the bacterial wilt disease will and can attack any solanaceous crop, and tomato is also a solanaceous crop. So now I'm concerned that this disease can and most likely will spread to nearing plants. So unfortunately, I have to say goodbye, guys, to my jalapeno pepper plant. I will extract it like so. You could see that the entire plant is absolutely wilted. There are no more flowers or flowering buds on this pepper plant. I do see some smaller peppers still hanging on. However, as I just said, because of this bacterial disease, these peppers will no longer continue to grow. And one more thing, guys, never ever compost any plant that is sick or had severe infectious bacterial disease, as you will infect everything else in your home garden. Discard of this plant accordingly and absolutely as soon as possible. So here I'm going to pick the larger pepper that I had hanging on. So one more jalapeno. Thank you so much, plant. Well, here's one more. Let's see over here. And I am going to get rid and discard of this plant immediately from my home garden. So now that you extracted and you pulled out the diseased plant, the plant that was impacted by pepper bacterial wilt disease from the soil of your home garden, here's an example. If you want to get extra scientific here and you want to, for your own purposes, really determine if that's the bacterial wilt disease that killed your pepper plant, well, here's what you can do, guys. You could take your pepper plant that you just extracted, and if you cut through the main stem of your pepper plant crosswise, you will see a discharge oozing out of the stem. This discharge is usually either brown, beige, or milky white color. So if you cut your pepper stem crosswise and see any liquid oozing, any discharge that is either beige, milky white, or even brown in color, then that's 100% proof that your pepper plant has died because of the bacterial wilt disease. This is it for this video, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me here in my home garden in Long Island, New York, Zone 7A. In today's gardening video, we spoke about pepper plants, and specifically, we spoke about 4 most common causes for pepper plants leaf wilt. We also discussed one not such a common cause. However, as you guys saw, unfortunately, this disease, the pepper bacterial wilt disease, has creeped into my home garden here in Long Island, New York, and had absolutely no mercy on my 2 jalapeno pepper plants. It has destroyed them and killed them. So if you guys enjoyed the content of today's video, if you found this video to be useful, helpful, informative, interesting, show me that support by clicking thumbs up below. Leave your comments, guys. I love talking and communicating with you, my fellow gardeners. Let me know, are you growing peppers this year? If so, how is your pepper harvest? And please let me know if you have had to deal with any pepper leaf wilt, or God forbid any bacterial diseases when it comes to your pepper plants or any plants in general, crops in your home garden. And for those of you who haven't yet done so, do so today, guys. Subscribe to my gardening channel. Click the bell icon if you want YouTube to notify you every time I'll upload a new gardening video. Stay healthy, guys. Health is the most important thing. Happy. Be well, guys, and happy gardening. I'll see you again in my new upcoming gardening videos. Bye, guys.